presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Wisconsin.
The Milwaukee Brewers are back at Miller Park for the first time in 2013. With only 3 days until opening day, spring training continues in Milwaukee with a final tune-up against the Chicago White Sox. Brewers baseball is next on Fox Sports Wisconsin. There she is in all her glory. Miller Park open for business tonight. Exhibition baseball here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. The White Sox and the Brew Crew. And the first of two games here before the regular season begins on Monday. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. Great to have you with us tonight. We're excited to be here. We're excited to get this season started in rock. There's just something about that third deck in Miller Park. It's a fun night.
Beautiful places. Who said the weather was bad? It's nice here today. And
perfect.
A long stretch in Arizona for these guys. That plane ride last night, everybody just can't wait to get going. Two more games here against these White Sox, and then the season starts in earnest. Everybody can't wait.
Yeah, as John Axford said, that 37-degree breath never felt so good. Well, some news today. Ron Renicky did announce that he has set his starting rotation. Chris Narveson's going to go to the bullpen. That means Willie Peralta slots into the 3 spot in the rotation. He's pitching tonight. We'll have plenty of chance to talk about him. But all of that is because Kyle Lohse is here. Mike Fiers gets into the 5 spot. Kyle Lohse, the new acquisition. Huge news this week.
Yeah, what a great pickup. I mean, all of a sudden, the Brewers' starting rotation is solidified with Lohse in the mix. There you see him right there. A veteran guy, knows how to pitch. He won 16 games last year with the Cardinals. Amazing that this guy was available so long, but the Brewers able to come up with a deal, sign him at the last minute, and pitched yesterday. He pitched very well, 3 2/3, 4 base hits, giving up only 1 run, got the win. He threw 80 pitches, and more importantly, he says he feels great, and he should be ready to pitch in that Diamondback series.
Yeah, we're going to have to see how it goes for him. Obviously, he's going to be on a pretty strict pitch limit. Speaking of pitch limits, Willie Peralta will be on one. Big start for him, a final tune-up, and when we come back, we'll visit with Sophia Medert. She's going to get us caught up on all things exhibition when we continue.
Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Columbia St. Mary's, a passion for patient care. And by Mills Fleet Farm, we love it. Brewers baseball is finally back here at Miller Park. The team is back from a long spring training in Maryville, Arizona, and they are excited to get things underway here back at the home park. Now, this is exhibition baseball, so we may see things a little bit differently over the next 2 games here against the White Sox. Now, starting pitcher Willie Peralta has a pitch count set for around 80 pitches. After that, we may see a few guys coming out of the bullpen. position players are expected to take their normal 3 at-bats, and they may be exiting the games at different times as well. Now, Jonathan Lucroy has said he would like to catch the complete game tonight, but manager Ron Roenicke would like to give him maybe 6 or 7 innings and let Martin Maldonado get some innings as well. The newcomers may get some at-bats here under the bright lights of Miller Park as well. And if you're looking for free baseball, well, we're going to cap the night at 10. So regardless of the score, all we're playing here tonight is 10 innings. Coming up after the break, Brian Anderson and Bill Schroeder, they made it back from Maryville, Arizona as well. They will bring you the first pitch from here at Miller Park. Brewers baseball is coming up next.
Here at Miller Park, exhibition baseball, the Brewers and the Chicago White Sox. And there they go. The Brewers take the field behind Willie Peralta. And his final exhibition start before Willie makes his first start of the regular season in Game 3 against the Colorado Rockies. Oh, the ballpark looks great, Rock, and certainly it is good to be back here in Miller Park, and a good crowd expected. They're expecting maybe 12 to 15,000 for this exhibition game. So Peralta getting ready to go, and this will be the lineup that he will face. It's brought to you by Piggly Wiggly. The Chicago White Sox with Alejandro De Aza leading off. Jeff Keppinger batting second. Alex Rios in the 3-hole. Middle of the order is Adam Dunn, Paul Konerko, and Dion Biciedo, with Alexei Ramirez, Tyler Flowers, and Gordon Beckham rounding it out. And yes, the White Sox will be using a designated hitter. The Brewers will not. So Peralta and the other Brewers pitchers will have to deal with that extra hitter.
Yeah, good numbers for Peralta a year ago with the Brewers. He made 6 appearances, 5 of them starts. Look at the ERA. Outstanding work by Willie Peralta. And pitched pretty well in spring training, except for his last start against San Diego. That was back on the 24th. You have 6 runs in 5 1/3, but it's all about just getting the work in, and that's what Willie's been able to do.
And let's check the defense behind Willie Peralta. It's brought to you by Menards. Ryan Braun, Carlos Gomez, Nori Aoki in the outfield. On infield of Ramirez, Segura, Weeks, and Gonzalez. Jonathan Lucroy does the catching. Peralta on the mound. Big story there. Alex Gonzalez playing first base. And when and if he does play first base, if he gets through these games injury-free on opening day, it'll be the first time ever that he's played an inning at first base. One of the best defensive shortstops in Major League Baseball for so many years. And will now be filling in at first base. There's Marty Foster. He'll call the balls and strikes. Dan Bellino, John Tumpain, and Ben May on the bases. And away we go here tonight. Brewers with their opening day lineup. And as Sophia mentioned, you'll probably see them for 3 at-bats and maybe 6 or 7 innings. Although I know Ryan Braun wants to maybe play all 9. I know Jonathan Lucroy said he'd like to play all 9 as well. But a good couple of days here, Rock, to just get in the big league environment, just to be back at Miller Park, and it's good for the White Sox as well. And every team wants to get started on the right foot, and this is a good way to do it in the climate-controlled environment of Miller Park.
Yeah, don't have to deal with the cold temperatures. Supposed to be a little bit chilly on opening day, but not here at Miller Park. Guys are excited to get home.
All right, Peralta set. Alejandro De Aza leads off. First pitch upstairs, ball one, and off we go. They'll be having interviews throughout the game today. We're going to visit with Ron Renicky. He'll join us on a headset in the second inning. And that's something that's always fun about exhibition baseball. We're able to gain more access than we normally get. We're going to hear from a number of players. Sophia will be down there with interviews. And the Brewer skipper had some big news that he dropped before the ball game today, announcing his starting 5 in the rotation. Such a big question about who that would be. And Narveson going to the bullpen, Rock, and that means Mike Fiers not only has made the team, but he makes the team as a starter, the 5th starter, and Willie Peralta both in the starting rotation as De Aza fouls another one away.
Yeah, Brewers just felt as though Narveson wasn't quite ready to extend himself and be in that rotation, and nothing wrong with him, but coming off that shoulder surgery a year ago, just felt as though he wasn't ready to get going, and we'll see. But the addition of Kyle Lohse really solidifies that rotation for Milwaukee.
Well, I know you had a chance to see Lohse yesterday, and that was a much anticipated start for him, his first and only exhibition start, and he came through it very well. They scaled him back on his pitch count a little bit. He's felt like he could have gone maybe another inning or so, but he said today, Rock, it's normal soreness, which I think everybody was waiting to hear.
Well, and again, I mean, he was throwing and doing extensive work. He lives in Arizona, so he was down there working and throwing simulated games against some of the college teams down in the Phoenix area, and felt as though he was ready to get going. So we'd expect to see him in that Rocky series, or I should say the Diamondback series.
There's a broken bat over his Weeks. Got to hurry. The strong arm from Weeks in time for the out, and Gonzalez already with a nice pick at first base. So this is what it looks like. This is our best guess anyway, and the 5 that are a guarantee, but the order is not such a guarantee, at least for Lohse and Fiers. But we're speculating that Peralta, after he pitches in game 3 of that series against Colorado, Lohse would be ready to go in game 1 against the Diamondbacks, and then Fiers.
The funny thing about that rotation, the only 2 that you knew were going to be in that rotation to start spring training was Gallardo and Marco. So it looks a lot better, I think, and I think a little bit more mature, a lot more mature actually, with Kyle Lohse in the middle of that rotation. Nice pickup.
And Estrada will get the chance for the first time in his career to be at the top end of a rotation, however you slot it, 1, 2, or 3, and they're trying to get Estrada's innings up as well and get him to the point where he can be a 200 inning 30 start type starting pitcher as well. He's never thrown more than 170 innings.
Marco always seems to come up big in spring training, doesn't he? I mean, he comes in and he throws well and throws strikes. The changeup's always there for him, and looking forward to seeing Marco Estrada put together a full season.
Peralta to Keppinger, and a fly ball to Aoki. No problem. Much easier to catch fly balls at Miller Park than in the high sky of Arizona, right?
That might be against the wall at Maryvale. The ball doesn't carry quite as good here, guys. Well, it's good to be home. Miller Park looking great. Some upgrades. They did some things to the ballpark, and wow, gets better every year.
Yeah, Justin Scott, the head groundskeeper, and his team, they just did a terrific job. And I was down there for batting practice, and a lot of the players, coaches, media members just giving him a lot of credit. The field is immaculate right now. It looks beautiful. Hard to get green grass in Wisconsin this time of year.
And talk about the last couple of months, the snow that they had, but this place looks great.
Alex Rios shoots one foul, and it's quickly 0-2. White Sox are going to be contenders in the American League Central. They feel like their window is closing a little bit, but they have a ton of talent. The Tigers are the team to beat in the division. Tigers made big news yesterday announcing a long-term contract extension with Justin Verlander. Rios hits that one high and deep to center field. That is way back there, but Gomez able to haul it in. Yes, sir, Willie. Good to be back at Miller Park, right? Start his third year as the skipper of the Milwaukee Brewers, back-to-back winning seasons. Of course, a division title back in 2011, his first year. And here's his lineup today, brought to you by Piggly Wiggly, Aoki, Weeks, and Braun, Ramirez, Lucroy, and Gonzalez, and the bottom three, Gomez, Segura, and Willie Peralta will round it out. The pitcher will hit for himself. Hector Santiago out of New Jersey, just 25 years of age. Talented young left-hander on the mound for the White Sox.
Yeah, he was outstanding in 4 starts last year, 2-0, a 186 earned run average, and it's not a bad starting rotation. His White Sox rotation, led by Chris Sale, Jake Peavy.
Check it out, Rock. The scoreboard has gone all white. It's like Bakersfield hitting into the sun.
That's not a very good batter's eye,
No,
is it? And if you're going to do that when the White Sox are up.
Well, it's the exhibition season for everyone, including the scoreboard operations. And you know what? That thing's turned down. I think it's only running at about 30% brightness.
So a lot brighter than that.
I know you're amazed that I knew that, but
yeah,
we were having that conversation last year. So it's bright white. It's beautiful white.
It is.
But it's very distracting. That gives us a chance to set the defense behind the left-hander, Hector Santiago. Dion Viciedo, the tank they call him, in left field. Alejandro De Aza in center with Alex Rios in right. Around the infield, it's Keppinger, Ramirez, Gordon Beckham, and Paul Konerko. Tyler Flowers does the catching. Defense brought to you by Menards. And there's the all-star Paul Konerko.
One of the best in the business, Paul Konerko. Probably a little bit underrated. You don't hear a whole lot about him, but big-time run producer each and every year of his career. This is not a bad offensive club, these White Sox, the middle of their order, with Adam Dunn and Konerko in it.
There's Garth Orge, first base coach. He's saying, yeah, I've never seen this before. They're taken care of. Ed Cedar back in position, third base coach. The Brewers' entire coaching staff has returned from last season.
Yeah, everybody talks about spring training, and it was the longest spring training I think ever. It started mid-February because of the World Baseball Classic, and we talk about the players and how long it is for them. The coaches, well, they had a long time down there in Arizona getting everybody ready, and they are very happy to be back in Miller Park.
The WBC certainly extended things out, and no team was hit quite like the Brewers. And we're going to visit with Ron Renneke in the second inning. We'll get his take on that. But when you lose 13 players to the World Baseball Classic, the Brewers were able to get a number of those, or all of those players back for the final 10 days. And these 2 days count, and that's an important part of getting ready for the season. So I know a couple of guys like Luke Croy and Martin Maldonado, you know, they went and played for their respective countries. Maldonado with Puerto Rico, and they didn't get that many at-bats. So they're looking forward to every opportunity to hit.
Yeah, not just the at-bats, but Ron Renneke indicated during spring that, you know, to have both of your big league catchers away from the team for a couple of weeks, that has an effect on your pitching staff getting ready.
It looks like they hit the lights, literally. Took down the Giants scoreboard. And so we can resume here. Peralta had a 3-up, 3-down first inning. And now Santiago ready to go to work against Nori Aoki, who will start the season as the Brewers leadoff hitter. Was a role player, platoon player last year, you might remember, to start the season, but worked his way into an everyday role, and what a terrific rookie season he had last year.
Man, an ideal leadoff hitter too. I mean, takes pitches, not afraid to walk. He slaps the ball the other way, and pretty good against lefties.
Little bouncer out to short. This is Alexei Ramirez, and the great arm guns down Nori Aoki. One gone for Santiago.
And a little panic setting in from Ramirez after that bobble. Aoki gets down the line pretty good. Right about there. A little panic, but the big arm able to make up for it and gets the out. Not a big guy, but he's got a cannon.
And hits for power as well. So one gone for Ricky Weeks. Now the lineup you see today will be the opening day lineup as far as the position players go. And that means Weeks moves into that 2 spot. He's always felt like he's a leadoff hitter. He's wanted to be a leadoff hitter, but as he told us this spring, he understands why that Renneke has put this lineup together. Aoki is a perfect leadoff man, and that's a pretty sweet spot, hitting in front of Ryan Braun every day.
I was just going to say, I don't think anybody should complain about that spot in the batting order. You're going to get some pretty good pitches to hit.
Braun due next. So Weeks takes one down and in.
Santiago has good stuff. He averaged over 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. He started the season as the White Sox closer. Put together a good year, ended up being a starting pitcher.
Santiago ended up with 4 starts last year, but pitched in 42 big league games. As the closer, ended up with 4 saves. White Sox made a run last year, but just ran out of steam. The Detroit Tigers just too much. And Weeks chases one. Good changeup from Hector Santiago, and the first strikeout of the ball game.
Yeah, the left-hander has a very live arm. I mean, the fastball gets in there in the mid-90s. You can see the tumble on that changeup, a circle change as it goes away from Ricky, and not able to hold up. Good arm action on that pitch.
So 2 gone, and a big hand for Ryan Braun. His first at bat here at Miller Park. Finished second in the MVP voting a season ago. And takes strike 1. Now, not only did Braun put up the big power numbers, he was in the 40-30 club for the first time in Brewers franchise history. 40 home runs and over 30 stolen bases, and just one of the premier hitters in the game. 41 home runs, led the National League last year. Finished second in the RBI race with 112.
Man, just when you think he can't get any better, he seems to do it every year. I mean, last year was the stolen bases, and got to believe he's about as much of a self-motivator as I've ever seen in a Brewers uniform. 40-40's got to be on his radar screen.
Has back-to-back years of at least 30 homers and 30 stolen bases. And you're right, he pushed over the 40 home run plateau last season, and expecting a big season again this year. Well, he and Aramis Ramirez make quite a tandem as well in the middle of that batting order. Braun swings and misses. Good stuff coming from Hector Santiago in this first inning. 1-2-3, Brewers go in order. We head to the second.
Sunday, April 7th, your Brewers take on the Diamondbacks at 1:10 p.m. And all fans in attendance will receive a Norichika Aoki bobblehead, courtesy of Robert Hack Diamonds. Visit Brewers.com for tickets. Brian and Bill, you guys will have the chance to speak with manager Ron Renneke in the bottom of the second. And following, I'll have the chance to catch up with the newly acquired pitcher Kyle Lohse.
Very nice. Good get for us, Sophia, already after the much sought-after free agent acquisition. Had a chance to talk to Kyle Lohse before the game. Boy, he is excited to be in Milwaukee. Big Adam Dunn will lead off for the White Sox, the designated hitter tonight for Chicago. Peralta, a scoreless first inning. A couple of long fly ball outs in that first inning. And as always, when Adam Dunn is at the plate, the Brewers employ the big shift, the Ryan Howard shift, with Weeks way back in the grass.
And nobody has more power in baseball than Adam Dunn when he gets a hold of one.
And he just squirts one into left field. Would have been a routine ground out in most defensive alignments. But it's a single for Adam Dunn here, the first base hit of the game.
And it's not often that Adam Dunn will do that. A squib right off the end of the bat. Not much you can do about it. You set your defense based on what a hitter's tendencies are, and that is not the tendency of Adam Dunn.
So Dunn is aboard. And here comes Paul Konerko. Well, one of the great sluggers in the game, Konerko, and he just continues to put up numbers year after year. He's had quite a career. You don't know how long it's going to last, but for now the White Sox still have the dynamic run producing duo of Dunn and Konerko in the middle of their order. Konerko now in his 16th year in the major leagues, his 16th full season.
I don't think producing runs is going to be much of an issue for the White Sox. I mean, got some pretty good bats in the lineup.
Into center field, Gomez closing fast, makes a catch. Konerko lines out. And one gone here in the second inning.
Man, White Sox are getting some pretty good swings off of Willie Peralta. A couple long fly balls in the first. This is hit pretty well, but look at Gomez. They would make up ground and haul it in. Gomez had a bit of a bout with a stiff back at the end of spring training, but says he's good to go.
Well, the Brewers locking up Gomez to a long-term deal. setting their outfield for the next couple of years. One gone for Viciedo. What are you looking for tonight from Willie Peralta, Rock?
Well, get in there at about the 80 pitch mark and just get your work in, feel good, and have some success. I mean, it's not like it's the second start of spring where you're not too concerned about results. You want to finish strong here today and have a good feeling going into your first start in the regular season. He looks like he's throwing the ball pretty well.
He's got a little life on his fastball. I think there was some concerns about velocity, and he has not pitched well this spring. But Peralta certainly has his sights set on Game 3 of the opening series against the Rockies.
That's some good zip on that fastball, and you saw that one had some late movement going in, a little tail on it. Not great stuff. It's just a matter of being able to get ahead in the count, which he was able to do last year as a starter for Milwaukee. Very impressive changeup for him, and his breaking stuff was very good last year.
Now, Peralta was a big part of the Brewers' comeback last year after the trade with the Angels, trading Zach Greinke away. The Brewers acquiring Gene Segura and maybe unexpectedly getting to the big leagues very quick and becoming a budding star in this game after what he did last year. And Peralta was a big part of that, who stepped in for Greinke. He fires, and boy, what a shot in the arm. There's a swing and a miss. Down goes Viciedo, and Peralta has his first strikeout of the night.
And late movement going down and in, and Viciedo right over the top of it. No chance. That's good movement on that pitch. Watch the way he gets right over the top, and look at that ball sink as it gets to home plate. The problem that he runs into from time to time, he lets that arm drop. Everything flattens out, but he did a nice job staying on top of the baseball that time.
Peralta is 23 years of age. He'll be 24 in early May. Big hack by Alexei Ramirez. Talented White Sox shortstop. See his numbers last year. The 9 home runs, a down season for him. A guy who once hit 18 home runs in the big leagues. Good fastball on the corner from Peralta, and it's quickly 0-2. Peralta ended up with a couple of wins last year in 6 games. 5 of those were starts. Had a 2.48 earned run average. And showed the Brewers that he is ready for the big league stage.
A rough start to the night for Luke. Already getting dinged back there on a ball in the dirt. And he said he wants to play all 9.
Yeah, he might want to just play 3 at this point.
Come on, Luke. What are you thinking? Save those for the regular season.
Ball and 2 strikes on Alexei Ramirez. 2-2. Yeah, those are just some of the things you hear during the exhibition season that you don't hear in the regular season. Lucroy saying, I think I'd like to play all 9 innings tonight. Some of the rules are just a little bit different during the exhibition season.
I used to say that every time I started in the regular season.
Did you ever make it all the way to the end?
Every now and again.
There's a bullet to left. That ball's well hit, Braun back, and it's off the wall. Takes a hard bounce off the wall. And they'll hold up Dunn. Brewers fortunate a slow base runner was at first. So that'll be a double for Ramirez. Comes on a 2-strike pitch. And the White Sox with runners at second and third and 2 gone.
Yeah, Willie just couldn't put him away with that slider. Kept missing off the corner. Then here comes fastball. Ramirez, surprising power for a guy his size, and misses a home run by a couple of feet. Anybody but Dunn would have scored a run. He's not paid to run.
And just in case Joe McEwing, the third base coach, had any thought of sending him, Adam said, I'm not looking at you. So 2 gone, 2 out for Chicago's catcher Tyler Flowers. Flowers getting in 52 games last year. J.J. Pierzynski no longer a White Sox. He's now a member of the Texas Rangers. It's a leader lost for Robin Ventura. Quickly 0-2 on Flowers.
Yeah, check it out. Slide it right on the corner. And well done. Hit the glove.
Got him. Good fastball. Came boring in on Tyler Flowers. Peralta with a couple of Ks. He strands a couple of White Sox. We're still scoreless. In the second, and now we head to the bottom of the second. And one of the things we love about exhibition baseball, we get to throw a headset on the manager. Ron, thanks for joining us today. How is it being back at Miller Park? Did you find your spot?
I've got my spot. It's nice. What a nice evening in here.
And a decent crowd for this exhibition game. When you come back and now you're in your third season, obviously you started with a division championship, so that's tough to follow up. But how is it for you now? Are you starting to settle in and starting to feel comfortable?
Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable also with the players. We change a few faces every year, but it's nice having that core group where I know what to expect from them, and they know what I'm looking for.
You talked about some news with your rotation today, Ron. Chris Narveson into the bullpen. Mike Fiers in the starting rotation. Can you shed some light on the reasons for that?
Yeah, I think just a tough spot with when we picked up Loesch. These guys thought that they would already have that rotation set with the 5 guys, and then all of a sudden we pick up Loesch, and one of them we have to do something with. So Fiers, I think with the 2 months we saw from him last year and where he is at this point, Narvi coming off shoulder surgery, did a nice job for us in spring, but probably pushed it to try to make that starting rotation, and I think this gives him a chance to set back and not have those innings piled up on him right away.
And what does obviously Kyle Loesch, that's a big pickup for you guys. What do you expect out of him going forward? Do you expect him to pitch soon, and how long will he be able to go right away? Well,
we think he's going to go in that second series against the Diamondbacks, and I talked to him today about length, and he said really we'll follow the innings. If he's stressed out in a few of the innings, we won't go as long with him. If he's breezing through innings, we can go a little bit longer, but I certainly wouldn't want to push him up to 95 or 100.
Ron, because he is so new to the organization, he's made just the one start. That'll be his only exhibition start. Do you have to take measures to acclimate him? I'm sure in your meetings that you've introduced him, let him have his say, but from your perspective, how do you get Kyle Loesch into the Brewers' way at this point?
Well, it's a lot of conversations. So he's a smart guy. He's been around. He knows what he needs to do. But there are little things that are different. But he picks them up pretty fast. He already has. And just having him a couple days in spring training, we've gone over some different things that we do, and he's picked up that fast. And I expect him to be very vocal with us and let us know where he is. He says he will be. And I think that's very important, especially to start off. We certainly don't want to get him in a bad position where we're throwing him too much too early. This is a long season. We need him in September and hopefully beyond that.
Alex Gonzalez at the plate, visiting with Ron Roenicke, the Brewers skipper, and just give us an update on Corey Hart and your expectations for his return, and how do you think Alex Gonzalez is going to be at first base in the meantime?
Well, Alex, and not surprising, picked it up the first day we put him there. He picks it. He has a good feel for it. He's one of those guys that's just gifted with great baseball instincts, and Corey's coming along good in his rehab, and whether it's the end of May or middle of May, we certainly would like him back.
Well, Ron, thanks for the time. We appreciate your insights. It's great to see you down there in the first base dugout again.
All right, guys. Nice talking to you.
That's Ron Roenicke, Brewers skipper. 1-2-3 inning for Hector Santiago. And the Giant scoreboard is back and operational, Rock. That's big news right now.
Beauty.
It was down for 2 innings. But we're all back and everything's normal. Hopefully it'll be that way on Monday. Peralta starting his 3rd inning of work. Gordon Beckham leads off for the White Sox, batting 9th. And if you're just picking this up, Chicago is using the DH. Peralta has had a good fastball. Couple of strikeouts for Willie in the 2nd inning after the Alexei Ramirez double, which put runners at 2nd and 3rd. Peralta struck out Flowers to strand the base runners and end the inning. It's good to catch up with Ron Roenicke, and I know he's had a lot on his plate this spring with the WBC and the revolving door of personnel he's had to deal with. And he's a guy who handles a lot. Bouncer to Segura. And Gonzalez just got his foot out of there. 1 gone for Willie Peralta. Now the Brewers will play an exhibition game tomorrow, and then the season opens Monday afternoon. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap will have all 3 games of that first series of the season on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Brewers Live is on the air at noon on Monday, and then back to night games Tuesday and Wednesday. Opening up the season with the Colorado Rockies. Brewers just saw the Rockies yesterday, as a matter of fact. Top of the order for De Aza. Slaps one foul.
totally different animal opening day. You know, it's exciting to be back here for exhibition and good to see the fans out. And there's nothing like opening day, though. I mean, every player will remember every single opening day. It's one of those things. It's like a national holiday here in Milwaukee. The weather doesn't seem to bother the fans here.
Nah, it's perfect tailgating weather, right?
Yeah, ways to stay warm.
De Aza, pretty well hit center field. Gomez on the run, and Gomez fetches it.
And if it stays in the ballpark, he's going to track it down, and every so often, even if they are out, he'll bring them back in. Brewers blessed with two outfielders that are as good as it gets, Logan Schaefer and Carlos Gomez. And no problem for Gogo.
Gomez signing that long-term contract extension. Was a 3-year extension on top of a year that he still had left this year. And Doug Melvin was talking about it today, as a matter of fact, how the Brewers are strong up the middle, which is an important thing in the game of baseball, to have catcher, shortstop, second base, center field. Here's Segura deep in the hole. Outstanding play for Gene Segura. He's part of that strength up the middle. Segura will hit when we come back. We head to the home third. The Brewers are coming up. Gomez, Segura, and Peralta against left-hander Hector Santiago. Hey, Rock, our Ho Chunk Gaming text question today comes from Jody in Brookfield. What is the most difficult position in the lineup for a batter?
I mean, the toughest spot in the batting order, you mean?
I think so.
I think number 8 is a very challenging spot because of the things you have to deal with batting in front of the pitcher. I mean, they pitch around you a lot, and you've got to be able to be patient at the plate. It really limits your running game when you're batting in front of the pitcher once you do get on. So Gene Segura, especially as a young player, has got those challenges to deal with. But coming off a batting championship in winter ball and had a very good spring training, so he has a lot of confidence coming into the season.
Yeah, managers just don't hand the keys to the 8th spot of the order in the National League lineup to a young player, but Segura has impressed enough to get there as Gomez unleashes the hounds.
Didn't go down, though, did he?
He stayed on his feet.
Right about here, you figure he's going to hit the deck, but nope. Good balance.
And he takes a called strike on the inside corner. Well, you got to like what you see from Hector Santiago.
Yeah, he was pretty good last year. They actually sent him down for a month last year and did the White Sox to get things together. They turned him into a starter, and that fastball catching plenty of the plate and catching Gomez looking.
Santiago making just his second start of the spring of the exhibition season as he deals a strike to Segura. As Rock mentioned, Segura, after his successful run last year in the big leagues, went and played winter ball in the Dominican Republic, and he won a batting title there. Well, the more you see him play, the more you watch his progression and how fast he learns as he takes a called strike, back-to-back strikeouts for Santiago.
And he's so new to the position of shortstop. That last play to end the inning, a little backhand, a couple of steps in the hole, the backhand, and well, he just unleashed a rocket over to first. Caught him looking that time. That had plenty of the plate. Santiago throwing 3 pitches pretty well tonight: slider, changeup, and fastball.
Looks like he's ready for the season, doesn't he? There's Willie Peralta. Well, the Brewers not using the DH like the White Sox, but Peralta has been a guy who has proven he can handle the bat. I remember when he arrived to Milwaukee last year, those who had been with him in the minor leagues were teammates with him throughout AA and AAA when pitchers finally start to hit for themselves. So he can really swing the bat. He's got some pop.
All young kids are pretty good athletes, aren't they? They can do a lot of things. Swing the bat pretty well last year. Remember a double he hit in Miami, I believe it was.
Well, down he goes here. Yep, 1-2-3 inning with 3 strikeouts for Hector Santiago. He's ready. Tonight, Good Friday here. Hope you're going to enjoy a great Easter weekend in Milwaukee. No score as we head to the 4th. Peralta's back on the mound, and we send it down to Sophia, who is with the newest Brewer, Kyle Lohse.
Thanks, Brian. Joined now by Kyle Lohse, the newly acquired Brewers pitcher. Welcome to Milwaukee, Kyle. It's good to have you here. An important day for you yesterday. Your first outing against a major league lineup after missing all of spring training. How do you feel it went for you, and how are you feeling today?
Well, good. It was really, a good experience to get out there, with the team and show them all the work that I've been putting in on my own. I've been throwing to a lot of college kids and getting my pitch count and stamina up there. And it was a little step back as far as that goes. My pitch count, I had gotten up to 90. And yesterday we just took it a little easier, and they wanted to see how I recovered, and I felt pretty good today.
What was the biggest challenge for you in the offseason, not knowing where you would end up, missing all of spring training, and just getting yourself ready to go?
A little bit of all of it. It definitely was a different experience having to get ready on my own. Having been around for 12 years, I knew where I needed to be pitch count-wise and workout-wise, but it was a little challenge mentally, knowing I had no idea where I was going to go, and I really had no chance to prepare. Things that people don't think about, the living situation and stuff like that, and you spring upon your family, hey, we're going to Milwaukee in 3 days. It's a little tough to get all that situated. So, but bottom line, I'm happy with the situation, how it ended up, coming over here with the team that I really wanted to play for, and I expect good things out here.
When you signed, you said that Milwaukee was a team that had been on your target list. Why was this organization attractive to you?
A couple reasons. I mean, you look at this this offense that we got out here. It's definitely not one that I liked facing on the other side. So you look at the capabilities of getting into the postseason. That was a big plus. And you look at this rotation had some young guys, and me being around for a while, I figured that would be a good opportunity for me to go in there and kind of be a stabilizing force and bring some of my knowledge and maybe help out the younger guys. And I think that it's going to be a good thing for me to do in my career.
Coming over from the Cardinals, how did your familiarity with the division play into your decision? Was it more appealing?
Big too. I forgot that too. Is I've had a lot of success in this division over the last couple of years, and knowing it, it's a big advantage to know the hitters in the league and know how to get them out, and that definitely helped out.
You mentioned the offense going up against this lineup, but now what will it be like to have them on your side and get that run support?
It's going to be a relief. This team is up there with the runs and hit average, all the stuff that helps you as a pitcher, knowing that you're going to score, and it helps out a lot. So it was a big influence on me.
One thing you said earlier today is that you were looking forward to kind of maybe playing more of a mentor role to some of the younger guys. What are some of the things that you've learned from veterans like Chris Carpenter, Adam Wainwright, that maybe you can bring to this young staff?
I think the approach, what makes each guy consistent? What kind of things mentally do you have to do to prepare? For me, it's a big. I learned how to prepare over there. Working with Dave Duncan was a big changing force in my career. Figuring out what kind of pitcher I needed to be. Before I came over there, I was a four-seam fastball guy trying to strike guys out. I wasn't very successful at that. I needed to throw sinkers, get guys out early in the count, and just the mental side of that. Trying to, like I said, the preparation. What kind of concentration do you have out there? Things that I picked up along the way that I think would be good for young guys to hear. It helps to hear it from a player sometimes, rather than just the coaches, because sometimes the coaches, they say all the right things, and sometimes it takes a player to get it across, like how to do it, and you learn that through experience.
Getting that first outing out of the way yesterday, how does the rest of these next few days play out for you until your first start?
Yeah, I think we're shooting for that first game of the Arizona series, so I'm going to have a couple extra days of rest, probably throw an extra bullpen in there, kind of see how it feels, and I've been around a while, so that kind of stuff doesn't really affect me, schedule-wise. So, I'll figure out things to do that I need to be ready for that game, and we'll get it going.
All right, thanks, Kyle, for your time. We'll look forward to seeing Kyle in that first series against Arizona.
All right, Sophia, thanks, and thanks to Kyle Lohse for spending some time with us. And like I said, these exhibition games give us a chance to dive in a little bit. I asked Kyle before the game, I said, are you going to be leaving this game early like you see a lot in spring training? He goes, I don't have anywhere to go. I don't want to go sit in the hotel room. Yeah. I'll be here. So he's, as you can tell, he's very polished. He's a veteran guy that is a great talent, and that was a major shot in the arm.
Yes, it was.
To have that kind of news come down in the final week of the exhibition schedule.
Yep, I tell you, as much as he, respected that Brewers lineup over the years, I mean, that Brewers lineup respected him. He always pitched well against Milwaukee.
Well, he's pitched in the postseason. He has a World Series ring, of course. As Dunn draws the walk, back-to-back walks issued by Peralta. And the first two walks of the game for him, and now the White Sox with 2 on and nobody out here in the 4th. Now, that one thing Lohse said the other day, which really just jumped off the page, is that he said he feels like he can really help the lineup because he knows the game plan pitching against the Brewers so well and had, as you mentioned, a lot of success against Milwaukee hitters. He said he will gladly talk to guys like Braun and Ricky Weeks and Aramis Ramirez, who he has faced so many times in his career, and try to give them an idea of how opposing pitchers attack their strengths and weaknesses. And
see how it affects the Brewers' success against St. Louis. You wonder how he's going to feel when he goes into Busch Stadium and facing the St. Louis Cardinals. That's going to be an interesting experience for him. Guy's been around. He's had a lot of success, and That was a whale of a pickup for Doug Melvin and the Brewers right at the end of spring training.
A 3-year contract for Loesch. 2 on for Paul Konerko. See if Peralta can wiggle out of this inning. Start getting into the 4th, 5th inning. And because it is the exhibition schedule, you know, there's just not the normal adrenaline that pushes you through, and they're still trying to build up their arm strength.
Yeah, man, well, this being at Miller Park helps a little bit. He's pushing 60 pitches right now, looking to get him to 80.
Peralta went 5 1/3 in his last start, which came against the Padres back on the 24th last Sunday. Oh, that didn't miss by much. And it's a ball and 2 strikes on Konerko. Willie was the top prospect in the Brewers organization at the time of his promotion. Started the year in AAA, and the numbers were so-so. Had a losing record and a 4.66 ERA, but when he got to the big leagues, he found a new gear. There's a call. Strike 3. Peralta dropped an off-speed pitch on Konerko, and he fooled the big slugger, and down goes Konerko for the first out.
Well, the 0-2 fastball didn't miss by much, and there's that changeup we're talking about. Good job by Lucroy, holding right there on the corner for Marty Foster, and above the knees.
Now, Peralta does have an excellent changeup, and with a fastball that can top out at 96, 97 miles an hour, you can imagine what a changeup does to disrupt the timing of the hitter.
Well, you just saw it, right? With Konerko, a pretty good hitter. He just was locked out, didn't know what to do with it.
And a lot of times Peralta will just, you know, he'll change his speeds, and that's the name of the game as a pitcher. But he'll just, you know, spread his fingers apart just a little bit, just enough so he doesn't have the best grip on the baseball, and that takes velocity off the baseball. There's a bouncer, got a chance for 2 here. Weeks. Oh, and Ricky throws it away. And a run's going to score, maybe 2. Dunn around third on his way. He'll score. And what looked like a potential inning-ending double play turns out to be a 2-base error. And 2 runs are in for the White Sox.
That would have been an easy double play, end of inning. Look where Segura, he has a long way to go. They had him play the pull. Ricky tried to lead him instead of throwing it over the bag, and ended up down the line in left field. Adam Dunn able to come around all the way from first base. Check it out. A little bit of a sidearm flip. Got away from him, and 2 runs in.
And so here is Ramirez now with Viciedo out at second base. And a good block by Lucroy. Take another look.
Yeah, the danger of dropping the arm as opposed to the quick feed and getting in position. Watch Ricky. It's kind of a sidearm flip. No chance for Segura.
And one of the benefits of the exhibition season, the pitching coach Rick Kranitz will draw a line under that one. He'll call that an inning-ending double play, and then he'll start Willie's 5th inning clock right now.
That's right. Well, so it's nothing to nothing, right?
That's right. Stats don't count.
See, the one problem with that is that Rick Kranitz will go back to the two walks to lead the inning off and say, if you didn't do that, then Ricky wouldn't have been in that position. That would have been the end of inning 2.
There's Rick Kranitz with the familiar look on his face. That's a man who is in constant agony for 7 months. He lives every moment with his pitchers, doesn't he?
Not physical agony.
No. He's totally healthy.
He's in good health. He feels good, but he's always grinding away, isn't he?
So you want to be a coach. He is a very funny man, Rick Kranitz. And he and Ron Renicky have a nice bond there. That was a Renicky hire when he first got the job in 2011. Remember, Rick Kranitz had been the pitching coach of the Baltimore Orioles and had taken a job with the Houston Astros as a minor league pitching instructor. So he was leaving the big leagues to go back to the minor league level. And Ron Renicky called him up, said, "I'd like to have you interview for the job." And those two hit it off right away, and he's been here ever since. Pitchers love him. There's ball 4. So the third walk of the inning for Willie Peralta. He's not missing by much, but he's missing nonetheless.
You know what Rick Kranitz does that really helps a young starting rotation? He simplifies things. I mean, you talk to your two catchers, Lucroy, Maldonado, and then you can sit down in the meetings with the pitchers. Does a nice job not boggling their mind with unnecessary information, and that certainly helps. Hey, the countdown to Brewers opening day is on, and you can go for free with a Brewers 10-pack. So what are you waiting for? Call 414-902-HITS or visit brewers.com/10packs today.
You're going to need to tighten that up for opening day a little bit.
Yeah, I got a little tongue-tied. I don't know if that's a typo on here or what it is, but I think I got through it pretty good.
Well, I like the way you sold the question. Like, what are you waiting for?
I worked on that all spring.
What are you waiting for?
You were critiquing me all spring on that.
Why? I don't know what I'm waiting for. Maybe I should just call now.
What are you waiting for?
That's the thing. You don't know where to put the emphasis on the you or the what.
I'm talking to each individual person that's watching.
Well, I thought you rallied after a shaky start. Phone lines are going crazy right now.
Even my cell phone.
Tyler Flowers at the plate for the White Sox. Peralta looking for a ground ball. Give him a chance to get out of this inning. The Brewers had a chance to turn a double play behind him to end the inning, but an error by Weeks. And a couple of runs have scored against Willie Peralta. 2-0 White Sox in the 4th. Flowers will be the starting catcher this year for the Southsiders. Getting a chance now with Pierzynski gone. Two on with one away. Peralta has issued 3 walks in this inning. Broken bat. Got another chance to turn it. Segura to Weeks. In time. There you go. 6-4-3 double play. And Peralta works through it. Couple of runs scored on a throwing error by Weeks. But a double play to end it. On Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. by Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. Back at Miller Park, exhibition baseball tonight on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Great to have you with us. White Sox with a couple of runs in the top of the fourth. Costly throwing error by Ricky Weeks. And now Matt Lindstrom will take over. Hector Santiago will be in the White Sox bullpen. He was very impressive tonight, and he gives way to another reliever in the White Sox roster, Lindstrom, former closer here.
Yeah, those numbers right there you see was combined between Baltimore and the Diamondbacks, and you saw the numbers. Has not allowed a hit or a run in 6 of his 7 appearances in the Cactus League. Got a big arm.
Santiago goes through the order, 9 up, 9 down with 5 strikeouts. No walks, 5 strikeouts. Impressive. And maybe a little burr in the saddle for Hector Santiago. White Sox announced earlier this week that Dylan Axelrod will be their 5th starter, and Santiago getting moved to the bullpen. Santiago, I'm not sure what you're looking for from a left-hander, but that's about as good as you can do it.
Well, maybe he should keep that burr because he looked pretty good.
Man, he's throwing hard.
Yeah,
good
5
change
punch
up.
outs, and he seemed to be ahead of every hitter.
Aoki over to Ramirez, and he played it off his foot. Aoki is aboard, the first base runner of the night for Milwaukee.
Yeah, it looked like he tried to get himself in position to throw before he had it in the glove and literally kicked it. This is a play big league shortstop's got to make. You figure that's an error. And both times Aoki has hit the ball to Ramirez, and both times he's had a problem with it. Got him the first time, not this time.
That'll be an error on Ramirez. But the Brewers will take it at this point. First base runner of the night, and that'll bring up Ricky Weeks. Now we'll see how Ricky Weeks does this year. He fought through that ankle injury. He hurt his ankle in 2011 and tried to come back, did come back. Wasn't the same hitter, though. And you might remember as the Brewers were going through that pennant race, they won the division that year, and Weeks did come back, which was amazing because I think everybody thought at the time, not only they thought he would be done for the year, he might even require surgery. He did not need surgery on that ankle. And so then he went through the entire offseason rehabbing the ankle. And a guy who's very tough, doesn't really let you know how he's feeling. But that ankle really bothered him, turns out. And, you know, as the year went on and you get to the offseason, you start to find out some of the stories that Weeks had to deal with the ankle and the treatment that he had to go through every day just to get that left ankle back in place. But and it's interesting to me, and you can shed more light on it, but it was his tap foot, his lead foot, and his timing mechanism that was thrown completely off.
Right, kind of off balance from time to time. I mean, when you have an ankle problem, front, back, it doesn't matter. It's going to give you a lot of problems. But, you know, Ricky tried to play through it. He really had a tough time in the first half. But once he got healthy, he put together some pretty good numbers in the second half. And the Brewers are hoping that he's going to be able to continue that.
Weeks strikes out. Lindstrom with a high fastball punches out the Brewers' 2-hole hitter. Brewers have already struck out 6 times tonight. The first out of this 4th inning, and now Ryan Braun.
Matt Lindstrom has about as good a stuff as you can get. Throws in the upper 90s. He's got a good slider. It's just a matter of being able to throw strikes, getting ahead in the count. He's got the stuff to be consistent or to be good in this game.
Lindstrom will be part of the late bullpen for the White Sox this year. Well, maybe the White Sox window is closing a little bit, but they're chasing a very good team in the Detroit Tigers. Tigers ending up in the World Series last year.
Tigers, Indians are going to be better. Kansas City looks pretty good. They're going to be better this year.
saw a note that the Tigers, after that signing of Justin Verlander to the contract extension, they have 4 players right now and $90 million committed to those 4 players. Prince Fielder, of course, is one of them. That is a lot of cash. That's more than the Brewers payroll to 4 players. And the Tigers are looking like the favorite in the Central once again this year. But the White Sox say not so fast. Braun swings and misses. And it's a ball and 2 strikes.
Yep, mid-90s and a little bit of a cut to it right at the end, and that's normally a spot where Ryan likes it. He likes it out away from him, and Lindstrom able to get it right by him.
Ball and 2 strikes. Aoki at first, and Braun sends one deep left field, fair or foul. That is a fair ball home run for Ryan Braun. A 2-run shot. And just like that, we're all tied up.
He's something else, isn't he? Well, some of the White Sox think that's a foul ball, but we don't have replay in exhibition games. So it will be a home run. Well, Lindstrom threw a good pitch on the outside corner, tried to come inside on Ryan. Turned out to be a bad decision.
Oh, no doubt about that one. Just launched out of here in left field. Really, the only question, did it have too much hook on it? And it just curled inside the foul pole. And we're all even up. 2-2 ball game. And now it's Aramis Ramirez. Well, what a combination here in Braun and Ramirez. The top run producing duo in the National League last year.
Now look at this. Tried to come inside, left it out over the plate, and you're not going to get that one back. Well, if the ball disappears behind that foul pole, it's fair. If it doesn't, it's foul.
Braun did a great job to limit the hook, and if there's such a thing as a Carlton Fisk situation in the exhibition season, that was it. I mean, it's not like the World Series, but we'll take it. As Ramirez bounces one up the middle. Ramirez to his knees. The throw in time. Wow. Outstanding play by Alexei Ramirez. And Aramis Ramirez is retired.
Some terrific range by Alexei Ramirez. He was shaded over the hole thinking Ramirez would pull it. Rolled it up the middle and made a nice play to get him.
2 gone in the inning. That'll bring up Jonathan Lucroy. I was surprised to hear from Lucroy about the WBC and then coming back from that, and he said, man, I was dialed in when I left for the WBC to play for Team USA, and he only got 5 at-bats in the WBC. He was 2 for 5, and he said he came back and he was rusty, and he's like, you know, it'll be fine because I feel like I got my stroke back, but boy, it was tough to get it going again at the plate because of all the sitting as he bounces one back to the mound. And Lucroy is retired. But Ryan Braun welcomes the Brewers back to Miller Park. A 2-run home run to tie it at 2. Brewers are on the board with 4 in the books. That classic pose of Ryan Braun. Strike pitch. Launched one into the bleachers in left field. And a good way for Braun to get the Brewers back at Miller Park. No doubt about this one, partner.
And not in far enough, and Ryan Braun made him pay for it. Hooking it around that foul pole. Frank Howard would be very happy with that swing. That's what he used to say. Hook one around that foul pole. And he did.
Braun still thinking about hitting. So Peralta back on the mound. He starts his 5th inning of work. I tell you see Braun, and it's amazing. You know, his numbers speak for themselves, but it's amazing how his swing is unchanged and his mannerisms are unchanged. And that mechanism he uses where, you know, he like exhales right at impact. He's actually worked on that. And then he has a little tug of the jersey when he knows he got it. So there's the exhale. Then check this out.
He never panics. That's the thing. I mean, it doesn't matter if there's 2 strikes on him, what the situation is. Game on the line. I mean, he's the same hitter each and every time up. His swing never changes, and there's the patented little pull on the Brewers jersey.
He only does that when he hits it well. That ball scalded to center. Beckham sends Gomez deep. Gomez off his glove. And Beckham into second base with a double. Well, Gomez almost made a great catch.
Yeah, the White Sox have been getting some pretty good swings off of Willie Peralta. He sent the outfielders back there a couple of times. Gomez got there, just missed it, went right off the thumb of his glove. And it'll probably be a double. That's one that Gomez is going to catch most of the time.
One of the very best center fielders in the big leagues, and the Brewers are fortunate to have a couple of guys who are excellent defensive outfielders. Logan Schaefer is the other one. There's a bunt. De Aza. That's going to roll foul. White Sox back to the top of their lineup. You know, you look at this Brewers outfield. Braun continues to improve his game as a left fielder. He's a guy that is pushing a Gold Glove potentially. Certainly among the group that was considered as a Gold Glove talent last year. You've got Gomez, who is a fantastic center fielder, very fast, and then Aoki, who's lost a step speed-wise. But you know, you remember Aoki in Japan was a 6-time Gold Glove Award winner as a center fielder in the Japanese major leagues. Piazza to Gonzalez, and he'll take the out himself.
You know, what surprised me most about Nori Aoki out in right field was his arm strength and his accuracy last year. I mean, not a guy that you would think of to have a big arm. He doesn't have a great throwing arm as far as, you know, being able to get one off of there, but he's very accurate and he's quick to get rid of it.
Just an excellent ball player. Aoki had a great year, and he said he's a lot more comfortable this year. He feels like he's got his bearings now, which is impressive when you consider what kind of year he had last year. White Sox have a runner at third for Jeff Keppinger. All tied at 2. The Brewers will bring their infield in here. Keppinger will begin the year as the starting third baseman for the White Sox. This is their opening day lineup tonight. White Sox will play these 2 games here in Milwaukee, and then they will open up against the Royals in Chicago on Monday. That's going to be a touch on the chilly side, right? They have a 6-game homestand to start the year.
Yeah.
They play the Royals for 3 and then the Mariners.
And Brewers go to Chicago and play the Cubs on the first road trip. Be a little bit cold in Minnesota for the opener. Got to have a roof, you know.
Now spring is here only in theory. You don't feel it in the weather at this point. Not here in the upper Midwest. Keppinger lines one to left, and that will produce a run. RBI single for Jeff Keppinger gives the White Sox the lead 3-2.
81 pitches now for Willie Peralta, and Keppinger, very good contact hitter, doesn't strike out much, but gets one up and in. Looked like it was off speed a little bit, a little slider, maybe didn't do much, and able to drive it into left.
Sophia told us it'd be a pretty firm pitch limit tonight, and Roenicke, after 81 pitches, will take the ball from his big right-hander. His next start will be against the Colorado Rockies, Game 3 of the season. Double play opportunity led to 2 Chicago White Sox runs. That was in the top of the 4th, but then a double play to end the inning. Peralta was able to limit the damage in that top of the 4th, and then in the bottom of the 4th, Ryan Braun sends one out of here. A 2-run home run to tie it. White Sox have now taken the lead on an RBI single by Jeff Keppinger. So Peralta is out, Rock, and now it's Brandon Kintzler.
Yeah, you see the numbers for Kintzler. Pretty good job once he got healthy once again. 14 strikeouts and just shy of 17 innings of work. Kintzler last pitched a couple of days ago against the Royals. Only threw a third of an inning. Actually ended that game at Maryvale.
And strike one to Alex Rios. A good comeback story for Brandon Kintzler. Had some nerve damage in his elbow. And it was a very long process to get back. The Brewers had faith in him, and long rehab process, and here he is. Back in the big leagues and pitching well. He's a guy that Ron Roenicke and Rick Kranitz like a lot. He throws strikes. He's a hard thrower. Brings that little extra velocity in the middle of a ball game.
They've been testing him in this spring. This is his 13th appearance. That's the most of anybody on the pitching staff.
Yeah, how about that? That's a lot of games. He's looking for a ground ball here. The 0-2 is outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Rios. Got married this offseason, and you know he's from Las Vegas, so when in Rome, just go to the drive-through marriage window, which is what they did. They said they're going to have a proper ceremony after this baseball season, but they just decided to, you know,
tie the knot.
Had the whole Elvis thing going and and everything.
Right.
It's not a bad option.
Okay.
One and 2 on Rios, and Kintzler checking on Keppinger. Well, the Brewers, Rock, are content at this point with a game and a half of exhibition to play to carry 13 pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means 8 relievers to start the season. It's a bouncer to third, past Ramirez and into left field. Keppinger on his way to third. The throw to second base, and just in there is Rios. A hustle double for the White Sox 3-hole hitter.
Yeah, quick hands on the inside corner for Alex Rios. They would have shoot that one right by Aramis Ramirez. Check it out. Well, just dropping the head of the bat on it, getting it down the line, and White Sox swinging the bats.
White Sox now with 5 hits, 3 of them coming in this inning. The inning when they scored twice, they scored 2 runs without the benefit of a hit. So here's Dunn, and first pitch is down low for a ball. Brewers bring their infield in and still employ the shift. So 3 infielders on the right side, all in tight, trying to cut that run off at the plate.
Not a very enviable position for Ricky Weeks and Alex Gonzalez.
Oh, Dunn hammers that one deep center field. Gomez can't get there, and this is going to bring in a couple of runs. Adam Dunn with a 2 RBI double. That was another ball Gomez would probably tell you he should have caught. He's had a couple in this game, very uncharacteristic of Gomez.
Yeah, you set the bar so high for yourself, you're expected to catch everything that stays in the ballpark. That was a hanging slider, and Adam Dunn about as much power as anybody in the game. You're right, a little bit of a route issue for Gomez. That'll be a double and a couple of ribbies.
And 4 hits in the inning, 3 in a row now. Back-to-back doubles against Kinsler. White Sox lead 5-2. That'll bring up Konerko with 1 away. Adam Dunn's been aboard all 3 trips to the plate now. 2 hits and a walk. Konerko is 0 for 2. He lined out his first time up. Struck out looking in the 4th. One of 3 Peralta strikeouts. Peralta ends up going 4 1/3 with 4 runs allowed, 3 of them earned, and 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. And those 3 walks all came in the 4th inning. And down goes Konerko. So a good pitch for Kinsler. Konerko strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. And now 2 men are gone.
A good short slider from Kinsler, and had Konerko way out in front over the top. That's a good pitch. Didn't break much, but it broke late. And you see it actually a changeup. My mistake. I didn't know Kinsler actually had a changeup.
Oh, that's a good pitch, huh?
I love that super slow motion. I mean, you can really see the spin on that baseball, what it's doing as it gets to home plate. It's choking off the speed on that changeup. It's all about the grip. You don't change anything but the grip on the baseball. You talked about that earlier with Kyle Lohse.
Two gone, runner at second. 5-2 White Sox. We play here in the 5th inning. He's got the changeup, the fastball, and the slider.
See the spin going clockwise that time.
It's a great look. You know, hitters talk about the dot on the slider. It's the spin of the baseball that produces that dot. Little squibber, and Weeks able to knock it down. That will save a run. Weeks was playing Viciedo to pull and had a long way to go.
He actually ran over to second base for an attempted pickoff. Check him out. There he goes, right at second. Had he not done that, he would have had it. You know, if you're a pitcher and you see that, you see your second baseman out of position. better off just stepping off. Because once you commit that far to second base, you either throw it or step off.
That'll go as an infield hit for Viciedo. Five hits in the inning for the White Sox, and the 8th batter of the inning, Alexei Ramirez. First and third, 2 away, and strike one. Now, the fact that Chris Narveson will pitch out of the bullpen to start the season gives the Brewers 3 left-handers in their bullpen. Mike Gonzalez, Tom Gorzolani, and now Narveson. Here's Segura. He'll go to second for the out to end the inning. But the White Sox put a 3 spot on the board. 5-2 Chicago.
Sox as we head to the bottom of the 5th. I'm joined now by starting pitcher Marco Estrada. Marco, you'll take the ball on Tuesday against the Rockies. How are you feeling after spring training, the World Baseball Classic, and getting ready for Tuesday's start?
I'm feeling pretty good, you know. Had a lot of work. Spring training was long. I think scheduling got a little screwed up because of the Classic, but, you know, I got back on track, and I've been up to 80 pitches now. So, you know, I'm ready to go at hopefully at least 90 pitches. If not 100. So feeling good, ready to go.
How did, you know, meaningful games in the World Baseball Classic help you prepare and kind of break up that monotony of spring training sometimes?
I wish I could say it helped me out, man. You know, I struggled a bit in the first. Went out there, saw the fans, got a little too excited. You know, you're pitching for your country, and you want to give it your all. I think I just tried a little too hard, was a little wild. So things didn't go too well that first inning. But, you know, once I settled in, calmed down, things went much better. And I think I'm just trying to take that into, you know, the next outing, remembering not to get too far ahead of myself or too excited. So that's all I took from that.
Obviously, the news of the week, the addition of Kyle Lohse. In your limited time with him so far, what have you seen from him as a person, a teammate, and what he's bringing to the clubhouse?
Well, other than his pitching ability, you know, he's been a great guy in the clubhouse already. He's been around for 5 days, and it feels like he's been here forever. You know, he's a 12-year vet, brings a lot to the clubhouse. It's something we're going to be able to learn a lot from him. Watching him pitch, being able to talk to him, he's really easygoing guy. So anybody can go up to him, ask him any question, and, you know, he'll be straightforward with anything. So we're all very excited to have him on our side.
How can he help you familiarity-wise with some of the other opponents? You know, having played against the Cardinals, he obviously knows this division well. And how does he help you younger guys, you know, get into things?
Well, I think the biggest thing is he'll be able to lead by example. You know, he's been a 200-plus inning guy for the last couple of years. His ERA has been really low. He just gets outs. he isn't a very hard throwing pitcher like myself. I don't throw very hard, so I'll be able to watch him pitch and just take pointers from that.
Goals-wise, I know the team was disappointed, falling short despite that late run. But personally, what are your goals, with your role in the rotation and as a team?
First of all, the first goal is just to stay healthy. Be able to go out and make 32, 33 starts in a year. That's my biggest goal. After that, well, besides, obviously, we want to make the playoffs, get to the World Series, and win the entire thing. But I guess personal goals would be just, give the team as many innings, as many quality outings as I can. It'd be great if I could go out and make 33 starts and 33 quality outings. It's almost impossible to do. But, if you can go out and Gallardo, I think, was in the top 3 in quality outings last year, and that's something I'd like to do. So if I can give him innings and keep the, walks to a minimum, that'd be the biggest thing for me.
All right, thanks, Marco. We'll look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. Brian?
All right, thanks, Sophia. Always good to hear from Marco Estrada. Talk about a guy who has persevered in his career.
And he takes nothing for granted. I mean, there's a guy that it doesn't matter how many years he's going to get in. Every time he takes the mound, whether it be spring training or regular season, he's going to give it 100%.
Pitch for Team Mexico. Marco is Mexican born. He was raised in California in the Los Angeles area, but born in Mexico, just like Giovanni Gallardo, and they were teammates for Team Mexico in the WBC. Both made starts, and Marco is a guy that was not even on the roster. He wasn't even a spring training non-roster invitee a couple of seasons ago. The Brewers had Zach Greinke in the starting rotation. Greinke got hurt. Remember, that was the year he broke his rib playing basketball. And the Brewers went through a number of different players, a number of different pitchers to try to take that slot. And it was Estrada who came up from minor league camp literally as just a shot in the dark to say, he was in the big leagues the year before. He was kind of out of the plans. They gave him a shot in spring training, and he never let go, and he ended up being a huge part of the division championship team in 2011, both as a starter and as a long reliever.
Well, the Brewers, frankly, were desperate at that point. I mean, as you mentioned, they brought a couple of guys over. Willie Peralta was one of them. He was too young. Out. He was too young at the time. And Marco came in and just poured through lineups, and the Brewers were forced to keep him. That's how well he did.
He has earned the trust of his manager for sure. Renicky was raving about Marco earlier today. He's not that big name. I think a lot of people nationally who cover the game, they know a little bit about Marco Estrada, may not know all that the Brewers feel like he can offer. And well, he was one of the best pitchers in the big leagues last year for a stretch of time. Segura bounces to third, turns it into a 5-4-3 double play, which is saying something against the speedy Segura.
beating the White Sox 5-2. Residents of Milwaukee, Ozaki, Racine, Washington, and Waukesha counties can purchase half-price tickets to the Brewers games versus the Pirates and Cardinals April 29th through May 3rd. Some restrictions apply. Save 50% on tickets at brewers.com/5county. Brian and Bill, we've heard from several players tonight, and we're hoping to get Ryan Braun and Jonathan Lucroy as the game continues.
Yeah, that'd be great. And but they said they wanted to play all 9, so we might have to catch up with them later. Thank you, Sophia. That's Dylan Costello there. He's the son of our fine graphics operator, Linda, and that is a very cool shirt. I think that's an original.
Yeah.
I don't think you can get that at the team store, can you? Might be some copyright issues there, but that's all right.
That's the way to call him out.
So here's Kinsler, and he is greeted rudely by Tyler Flowers, who hammers one off the wall. Going for 2. Braun's throw coming in. The tag in time. Out at second base. Ryan Braun guns down Tyler Flowers.
Yeah, so he can beat you with more weapons than just his bat. That time his arm. Well, he plays it beautifully off the wall out there and left. Kind of doesn't get too close to the wall. Plays it on a hop and throws a strike. Turns around and just throws a strike to second. Check him out. He knew he was playing it off the wall. A couple of hops, and there it goes. And right on the money for Ryan Braun. Well, we've seen that a number of times.
Very strong throwing arm. Remember, Braun was a shortstop in college.
Oops.
Close play. Flowers, that was an awkward slide the way he went in.
Nice slide.
Like he stepped short.
Yeah. He was safe. But the ball beat him. And Bronny gets an assist.
An exhibition assist. One gone for Beckham. 0-2 count. Beckham into right. Back is Aoki. That ball's got some travel to it. Aoki has to make a basket catch. Man, it has been an adventure in the Brewers outfield.
Guys are used to that high sky in Arizona. They're seeing the ball too well here. Check out this peg to second. All in one motion, spins around, and Ricky able to get there, make the tag, albeit late, but they got the out. He has a great sense, does Braun, for where he is on the field and where he wants to throw the baseball.
He still claims that if need be, he could be an everyday shortstop right now in the big leagues. He doesn't lack for confidence, Ryan Braun. He loves the position. He just said, it's just.
I don't doubt him. Do you?
No. And he loves it. He doesn't like the situation, but he loves, when Renicky brings the 5 infielders in, and when the home team is in a situation where they have the bases loaded, say, and the game's on the line, nobody out. It's a desperate situation, but Renicky always brings that 5th infielder in, and Braun's always that guy, and he relishes that moment. First year with the Brewers, when he was the Rookie of the Year, he played third base. And they moved him after the 07 season. He gladly moved to the outfield. Everybody talks about Braun's offense, rightly so. Countless hours with Ed Cedar and John Shelby, the 2 coaches, to get him ready to be a big league outfielder. Got to give Braun a lot of credit for making that adjustment. And he was a good outfielder from the get-go. I mean, he was never a bad outfielder.
He's got great range, and he goes into the gap and left center very well, but there aren't too many to go to the line any better than Ryan Braun. I mean, that's his strong suit, going to the line. Gets to a lot of baseballs that way.
There's a called strike 3, and that turns out to be a 3-batter inning for Brandon Kinsler. 5-2 White Sox. when you're back at Miller Park. The first one of the year, even though it's an exhibition race, these will not count in the official standings.
I didn't see him on the Brewers plane last night. The Sausages were down in Arizona.
They were underneath, Rock. They ride in, you know,
they're
down there in the galley.
They're cargo, huh?
So they're just happy not to be in the kitchen.
Yes.
Donnie Veal is the new White Sox pitcher, another left-hander. He is the 4th pitcher used by Robin Ventura. We'll probably have a number of changes coming up here as Veal takes over. Another guy who had a terrific year and a brief stay in the big leagues last year, a 1.38 earned run average.
Yeah, split time between AAA Charlotte and Chicago. Great numbers for him. 24 games, a 1.38 earned run average.
Sean Halton will pinch hit for the Brewers. He'll hit for Kinsler here in this 6th inning. 5-2. The White Sox had the lead. They scored a pair in the 4th, and then 3 runs in the 5th inning. The Brewers 2 runs delivered by Ryan Braun, a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 4th. And it'll be Alfredo Figueroa who is next up, and that'll get us into a discussion about some of those last roster spots. Figueroa is making a push for one of them.
Yes, he is. He's been impressive. Basically one spot left in the bullpen to win.
Halton, first baseman in Nashville last year, had a good season. He will not make the big league Brewers roster, a power hitter. But getting a chance to get a couple of at-bats, you never know. Sometimes these at-bats can go a long way in these exhibition games.
It'd be interesting to see where he's going to play down in AAA. If that's where he's going to end up. You got Hunter Morris, who's going to be playing first. He played first last year in AAA.
Yeah, Hunter Morris, right at the beginning of spring training, had a chance to maybe make a run as the Brewers' first baseman. Halton draws a walk, so a good at bat. I think Morris put a little pressure on himself, though. I think he saw the opportunity maybe a year earlier than he thought. He's coming off an MVP year in the Southern League, Hunter Morris, and that's a guy who's right on the heels of Sean Halton, so it can be a tough spot for a veteran guy who has put up numbers in the minor leagues.
Right. Well, they tried him in the outfield a little bit in spring training. They see what he could do, and if you can hit, you'll play somewhere. And Halton can hit. Got some power.
Back to the top of the order now, Nori Aoki.
You know the old saying, right? The bat plays.
The bat plays.
If you hit, they'll find a spot.
Well, it's a game of turnover, and these players are very aware of not only what's ahead of them if they're in the minor leagues, but what's behind them too. And the Brewers have a terrific prospect in Hunter Morris coming up, and he's going to be an interesting follow this year in the minor leagues, because you hope the experience of being in big league spring training doesn't rattle his confidence too much. He really struggled this spring. He's a terrific talent. Bouncing ball to second. Beckham, a nice play to Ramirez, who turns a double play. Well, that's as good as it gets.
I didn't think they're going to be able to get him, but Beckham's throw, I mean, off balance, right on the money. And then check it out. I mean, kind of a reverse pivot, right on the money, and Ramirez able to do the rest. That's a nice play.
Yeah, beautiful play. 4-6-3 it goes.
It all comes down to that feed to second base. If it's not off the mark a little bit, forget about the double play.
And now 2 gone for Ricky Weeks. Well, we're breaking out our new producer here tonight, Wave Robinson, Milwaukee native, and he's producing his first game
here. I mean, he's a veteran.
Oh yeah. He's been producing games for the Astros
many years, so not his first rodeo.
He's glad to be back in Milwaukee. We're glad to have him. His wife Terry is watching the game back in Texas. Born and raised in the city of Milwaukee, and now producing for his hometown team, and he and Michael Vetter will produce the Brewers this year. Kevin Shank is back as our director. Brian Mikulajic doing whatever he does. And always great to get back with our crew. Some of the best technicians in the business. And our fine booth staff up here. Mike Faulkner, the stats man.
Yep,
and, Renee Hoffman, our stage manager. There's Woody.
Our summer family. Don't see him in the off season. I don't think they want to see us, but
Dwayne and Trent out there where they belong, away from the spectators. As Weeks draws the walk. Certain people you got to keep away from the public, Rock.
Yep. Well, you can always count on that, and the fact that whenever you walk through the press dining room at about what, 3 o'clock?
Yes.
Dwayne and Rick are already 2 plates deep.
That's right. And there's the ringleader, Quinney, and Quinn in the shadows. Jesse Levy, our great handheld operator. Now, you know, these guys work a lot of games, not just Brewers games. You see them all over the place. National television, NFL, basketball.
Yeah.
And it's great to get the whole team back together here. And we'll be ready to launch it on Monday, opening day here at Miller Park. Can't wait.
I guess you don't want to ask them what they did in their off season, right? They don't have one.
No, it just keeps on going.
We do, but they don't.
Ryan Braun with 2 outs, 5-2 White Sox, and Braun a little bit late. Down on the count 0-2 on Donnie Veal. Oh, there's Ricky. He's the last one. Got to follow that foul ball, Rick. Be breaking out our new Brewers Live set on Monday out there in right field. Saw Jerry Augustine today. He and Craig Kashan will have the pregame show, the Brewers Live pregame.
I want to see Craig scale that due-deck.
That's right.
That wall you can climb out there in the third deck.
There it is. That's a new feature.
I've been told that Sophia did that already.
Yes, that's what she said. In her black boots and high-heeled boots. Is that right, Sophia?
Brian, I did. It's 26 feet up that Mountain Dew due-deck climbing wall, a new addition here for fans at Miller Park. And if I can scale it in, I would say, 4-inch boots, then I think anybody can do it. And John Axford was actually, we were debating whether it was more tricky to do it in boots or cleats. So I'm not sure. Rock, do you want to give it a try with me?
No, I don't like height, Sophia. You know what I'll do? I'll sit over there in the Miller Lite party deck. That's new too.
Yes, right next to it.
I'll risk life and limb to go over there.
Well, then you can watch, and Brian and I will race up
I'm not going up there either. You're on your own.
You guys are no fun.
Because didn't you say when you got to the top and you look back? I mean, that's a pretty awesome experience to look back down, and you're literally at the top of the stadium.
You really can't go much higher because it's 26 feet up, and I'm telling you, home plate looks awfully small from that high
that's
up.
No good. We'll get you on the slide before the season's over, Sophia.
I would love it. I'll be Bernie for a day.
Now Braun strikes out. No slide for Bernie this time. Inning over, we head to the 7th at Miller Park. defensive gems tonight. Our Marshfield Clinic shining moment. Ricky Weeks, outstanding play. The Brewers feel like they're going to be a much improved defensive team. Great play by Gene Segura, taking a hit away, and then a nicely turned 6-4-3 double play. And maybe the play of the night so far. Ryan Braun gunning down the White Sox catcher, Tyler Flowers.
Yeah, defense like that certainly going to help your team earn run average. And you know, the defense for the Brewers improved dramatically once Corey Hart went over to first base last year. As Sean Halton takes over for Alex Gonzalez.
And they move Gonzalez over to third. Ramirez is out. And the Brewers have a new pitcher as well, Alfredo Figueroa, who has a great chance to make this team. He's a hard thrower who has been in Japan the last couple of years.
Yeah, he does have some big league time with the Tigers. You see his numbers right there, but he has been very, very impressive. Has Figueroa, a non-roster invite. So if he indeed makes the ball club, the Brewers are going to have some roster decisions to make.
Figueroa went to Japan the last 2 seasons. He got a little bit of time in the big leagues in 2010 with the Tigers, and then took his services to Japan and said he felt like that experience made him a better pitcher, because a guy with velocity, you have to rely a little bit on your breaking stuff in Japan. There's a lot of slap hitters by rule. I mean, you look at Nori Aoki and the way he swings the bat, and that's a pretty common style in Japan. So Figueroa, the Brewers hope, comes back as a more polished pitcher and not just a hard thrower.
Yeah, his spring training has been very good. 14 2/3 innings. He's allowed only 3 runs, and this is his 11th appearance tonight. And somewhat of a disappointing outing for Brandon Kinsler, I would imagine, if you would talk to him about it. So Figueroa looking to light it up here tonight.
Now Figueroa and Donovan Hand are the 2 candidates for the 1 bullpen spot. The Brewers have 2 positions open on their 25-man opening day roster. One of them is the final position player spot, the bench role, and the other is the final bullpen spot. And Figueroa and Donovan Hand both pitching well, and there's a strikeout for Figueroa. Good start to his night here in the 7th. So as we mentioned, the Brewers are going to carry 13 pitchers, and that means 8 relievers. And these are the 7 that are set, and then the mystery man at the end.
Yeah, Figueroa or Hand, and you're talking about position players. You got Blake Lally. You got Chris Davis, who's been a real surprise, but that bullpen is an experienced bullpen. You got 3 left-handers. Burke Badenhop's had a tremendous spring. Sinker baller.
Brewers addressed some of their bullpen needs this offseason. That was really the priority this offseason. And Figueroa was certainly in those plans, but he was more of a down-the-road acquisition for the Brewers, just in case. They went out and made a deal with Tampa Bay to get Burke Badenhop. He's a sinker baller, a ground ball pitcher, and then signing free agent contracts with Mike Gonzalez and Tom Gorzolani, 2 left-handers who were teammates in Washington last year with the Nationals, a division championship team a season ago.
And both of them had great years. I mean, good numbers for both. The 2 lefties. How about 3 lefties in the bullpen? I mean, that's a lot of left-handers. That's good. That's good balance.
That Manny Parra was the lone left-hander in the bullpen last year. But Figueroa is a guy that brings a little something extra to the mix, because he's a hard thrower, and velocity is so important, and the Brewers have a ton of hard throwing relievers now. Think about Jim Henderson and Axford, Figueroa. On the other side, Donovan Hand is more of a control pitcher, and he has been lights out this spring. So you couldn't argue with either one of those selections. And they both put themselves in a position. The one that makes it obviously will get the ultimate reward but the one that doesn't is certainly going to be in the plans.
That's the thing. There's depth. Depth down in the minor leagues. That AAA roster for the Brewers is going to be pretty good. Some pretty good talent. Organization pretty deep right now, especially in the catching department. I'm not sure we're going to see. I see Anderson De La Rosa. He is he's with the ball club right now, but he's got some catching prospects that are pretty good. Good throwing arms.
There's Martin Maldonado. Played for Team Puerto Rico in the WBC. Well, he and Lucroy make up a young, talented catching core. You know, typically, and Rob, you were in this role for many years, but your backup catcher is kind of the veteran guy, you know, the guy who's been around, he knows his way around the team. And Maldonado's a young catcher, a defensive specialist who hit last year. And the way Roenicke uses his bench players, Maldonado figures to get more playing time than a normal backup catcher would.
He played a lot of first base in spring training.
And he played a very good first base. He did the same for Team Puerto Rico in the WBC. He didn't catch much because the Molina brothers did all the catching.
Yeah.
Yadier did most of the catching.
Then you have Robinson Diaz, who looked very good behind home plate. Can't have enough good catching in your organization, that's for sure. Jerry Narron was a pretty good big league catcher.
And he handles the catchers. He backed up Thurman Munson for the Yankees. And after Thurman passed away, he ended up taking that starter's job, which is a tough gig, Jerry Narron. So Rios draws the walk, and that brings up Adam Dunn. Always encourage you to get interactive with us throughout our broadcast, and our carsoup.com email the booth question comes from Dylan in New Berlin. What is the biggest strength on this season's Brewers team?
I think Ron Roenicke is very happy with the strength of his defense up the middle. Talking about catcher, short, second, and center field. I mean, if you're solid in that department, I think you're in pretty good shape. And the one thing that seemed to be an issue going into spring training, the Brewers starting lineup very right-hand hitting dominant. The only lefty that's going to be on that opening day lineup is going to be Aoki, but Brewers don't seem to be too concerned about that because of the numbers that the right-handed batters put up against right-handed pitching.
Well, the guarantees that we know of right now, the Brewers will have Logan Schaefer as the fourth outfielder. And he's a left-handed batter, and he figures to be a guy that is going to get a lot of playing time as well. Just the way Roenicke operates, the way he maneuvers players. And I think of all the things that he does, Ron Roenicke, he thrives as a National League manager, and he makes sure guys get playing time, and he really uses his bench well, and it keeps those guys ready in case they're pressed into duty.
Yeah, when in the National League, you're kind of forced to use all of your bench. A lot of nights. Yuniesky Betancourt, is that what we're calling him again? Betancourt?
Yeah, that's what he calls himself. So,
well, I guess we should, huh?
I figure we should if he does.
Got to go back to that again, don't we? That big controversy. But anyway, he's back, and I think that strengthens the bench. He can play all over the diamond. He's got some pop in his bat.
That was a nice sign. Uni B. Man, what a postseason he had in 2011.
We've got a Uni and we've got a Nori.
I like it. And we got a Rock. Dunn rips one to the opposite field.
Well, he's locked in, isn't he?
That's an easy swing. That's his third hit of the day. He's been on base 4 times. He is now 3 for 3 with a walk, 2 RBIs. Has a double tonight. And he's done for the day. Dunn will be lifted for the pinch runner. So that's a good day's work for Adam Dunn. Guess who the pinch runner is, Rob?
Who would that be?
Brian Anderson.
Okay. There's no debating how that pronunciation should go.
Spells his first name with a Y. And not to be confused with the former outfielder with the White Sox, Brian Anderson, who is now a pitcher, I believe, in the Yankee system. What's up, B8? Solid name. So solid that it's very popular. There's a lot of us.
It's easy to pronounce. That's what I'm happy about.
Here's Paul Konerko. Yeah, there was a period last year when, you know, Brian Anderson, the analyst, TV analyst for the Rays.
Right. Yeah.
So he was working occasional Fox games. So I was getting his paychecks for a little while.
Did you cash them?
Oh, I did. Drew a little interest, and then I returned them. That was nice. I just didn't want his W-2 though, so
no.
I had to get that cleared up.
You cash the checks, pretty much you're going to see that.
It's that time of year, you know.
You all set in that department?
All set. All done. Pretty complicated for us.
Yes, it is.
A lot of cities, a lot of states.
Yeah. It is complicated. Box it all up and give it to somebody.
That's right. We got people for that.
Yes.
Say hello to Bob Watson. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Konerko fouls it away. Paul Konerko. You know, Ron Renicky used to manage Paul Konerko. Coming up in the Dodgers system.
Right.
He was a catcher. He and John Shelby were former minor league managers of Paul Konerko. I want to say Renicky would manage Konerko and A-ball. San Bernardino. Broken bat. That's going to fall. A base hit. They'll send the runner in to score. Is Anderson, and the throw to check on Anderson, I should say. Scoring is Rios, and the White Sox lead it 6-2. Or Short, the man who ran for Rios. You know what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, well, ever since the 5th inning began, the White Sox have been really swinging the bats. That was a broken bat, but Konerko is certainly strong enough to fight it off. Down on the handle. Nice level swing, and finds it out there in the left field. Thought that Brian Braun was going to have a play there, but wasn't the case.
And that'll be a pitching change coming up. Figueroa, a rough one here at Miller Park tonight. He exits with 2 men on. We'll take a break, set up the new hurler when we come back. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Cousins Subs. Have a better day at Cousins Subs. Better bread, better subs, better day. And by Badger Mutual Insurance, protecting people's dreams since 1887. Miller Park on a Friday night exhibition baseball tonight. The Brewers and the White Sox. Uni Betancourt is in to play second base. Weeks is out. And the new pitcher, Rock, is Rob Wooten.
Yeah, Wooten split time between AA and AAA last year for the Brewers. Good numbers in 57 appearances.
So Wooten will take over for Figueroa, who gets just one out. He struck the first batter out he faced and then gives up a walk and 2 hits. Rob Wooten out of the Brewers bullpen trying to get through the 7th inning. They lifted Paul Konerko, by the way. Connor Gillespie is pinch running at first base, former Brewer minor leaguer. Two on, 1 out. And a swing and a miss by Dayan Viciedo. 25 bombs last year. Drove in 78. They call him the Tank, and he is a tank.
Yeah, you can see why.
Has one of the great arms, big power. Exciting player. Another big cut. 2-2 the count.
Yeah, speaking of exciting, how exciting has this got to be for Rob Wooten? I mean, he's never been in the big leagues. He's been with the Brewers his entire career, down in the minor leagues, and gets to pitch here at Miller Park today.
Just give him a taste.
Yeah.
Line drive, left field. And Braun gets it into the cutoff man. They'll hold the runners. Bases are loaded. 3 straight hits following a walk. And the White Sox up 6-2 now with 11 hits.
And 9 of them since the 5th inning started.
So the bases are loaded with 1 away for Alexei Ramirez, who has a double tonight. He doubled off Peralta. 1 for 3. Typically in these spring training games, exhibition games, you'll see hitters, they usually want 3 at-bats. And that's pretty much the norm. It starts off with 2 at-bats, and then they do that for a couple of weeks, and then they get 3 at-bats, and that's kind of the way it goes the rest of the exhibition season. But then you have certain guys, Rock, that want to play all 9 innings. I know Braun's that way. We talked about it at the beginning of the broadcast. Lucroy wants to catch 9 innings. Is that important for a catcher to catch all 9 at this point?
Well, you'd like to be able to do it at least once before the season starts. It's not necessary, but you catch today, you catch the entire game, maybe get tomorrow off or pinch hit, something like that. Be ready for opening day.
And the plan is for Martin Maldonado to catch tomorrow's game. There's a good pitch, a breaking ball, and Ramirez down on strikes. Much needed strikeout for Rob Wooten.
Yeah, Wooten hung a slider. Didn't hang that one. That was a good pitch. Down and away.
Well, opening day's coming Monday. Our Brewers Live pregame begins at noon. A special hour-long Brewers Live. And we want to invite you to look for the Fox Sports Wisconsin girls. Bishara, China, and Sage will all be here at Miller Park. We met them at the Brewers on Deck event while you were out in the Arizona sun at fantasy camp.
All right.
We got introduced to the Fox Sports Wisconsin girls.
Okay.
Very popular at the Brewers on Deck event.
I would imagine.
We missed you though, Rock.
I miss that every year, unfortunately, but You know, fantasy camp starts the same day that the on-deck event is held, and can't be in two places at once.
Oh, by the way, you know, during the on-deck event, we had that design a uniform contest,
right.
YOU uniform, and Ben Peters of Minnesota was voted as the winner, and they broke out those jerseys in Arizona to spring training game, and they're going to wear those jerseys tomorrow. I don't know if you've seen them or not, but they're fantastic.
I was at the game in spring training when they wore them.
They've got the head of the barrel man, the old logo, and players really like these uniforms. So tomorrow, this is what they're going to wear, and it's an alternate uniform, a spring training uniform. And I know Ben Peters is proud to have that jersey worn in the big leagues.
Mm-hmm. Did he win anything? Or?
Oh yeah, no, he won all kind of stuff.
Money?
I can't remember any of it, but he won all kind of stuff.
Did he get money?
He won one of those jerseys, and he won a trip to spring training. I want to say he got to coach first base.
Oh, that's cool.
And he hit third, and he had a double and an RBI, and he managed, and he did 3 innings of play-by-play. You don't remember any of that?
No, I don't.
Well, it happened. Here's Segura, and he makes the play for the out, and the inning is over. So Wooten gets out of it, but the White Sox add to their lead. Time here at Miller Park. A crowd of just shy of 12,000 for this exhibition game. Say if you're looking for a laugh heading into the weekend, Paul Emick follows Wisconsin athletes on Twitter all week, so he can bring you his top 10 tweets each Friday. You can check him out at foxsportswisconsin.com. Number of changes here for the White Sox as we head to the home 7th. White Sox have a new pitcher, Nate Jones. So Jones is in for Donnie Veal. Hector Santiago started this game with 3 scoreless innings, 9 up, 9 down with 5 strikeouts. And you see the numbers for Nate Jones last year, 65 appearances with the White Sox.
And not bad. You know, 239 earned run average. He's thrown well in spring training, looking to record his 9th consecutive spring training appearance without allowing a run.
So here's Yuniesky Betancourt now, and back in Milwaukee. Was in camp with the Phillies. Actually was swinging the bat very well in Florida. Starting shortstop for the Brewers, 2011. As a matter of fact, the Brewers have currently on their roster the last 3 starting shortstops. Betancourt, Gonzalez last year, and Segura this year. There's Alex, got the start at first base, now in the game at third. And Segura back there on the bench. A clubhouse favorite right here, Uni B. Well, guys, we're glad to get him back.
And he's a nice addition. Gives Ryan Renicky some flexibility late in the game. He can play anywhere in the infield. Remember a couple of years ago, Betancourt had a terrific second half and a very good postseason.
Had some big hits in the Diamondback series and in the LDS and then in the LCS against the Cardinals. And down he goes on strikes. So a strikeout for Nate Jones, his first batter faced. Brewers have always been good about, at least in the Doug Melvin era, about the late spring training acquisitions. You know, you remember, you think about 2011, one of the most prominent players from that division championship team was Nyjer Morgan, and he was added to the roster just before the team broke camp. Acquired in a trade from the Nationals that year, and of course he had a terrific year and had one of the biggest hits in franchise history, the iconic division-winning RBI single that sent the Brewers to the LCS. I think Nyjer's in Japan now. He's going to head overseas to play ball this year.
That'll be interesting to keep an eye on that.
Is it possible to muzzle Nyjer Morgan when he doesn't speak the language? You know, he'll always have a place here in Milwaukee. He had a rough year last year, but he had one of those years in 2011. Hit over 300 and was a huge part of the success the Brewers had. As Lucroy flies out, and 2 men are gone.
And really kind of energized the ball club, you know, in that season. I mean, he was a kind of a personality that the Brewers hadn't had, I don't think, ever. I mean, no organization has a guy like, you know, Nyjer Morgan in the way he presented himself back in 2011. But, you know, last year, I guess that only works if you're hitting 300.
Right.
Right?
Yes, and the winning division series.
Very quiet last year was Nyjer.
Yeah, Tony Plush turned into Tony Hush last year. That was his line. Alex Gonzalez. A very quiet offseason. I know he was disappointed. He wanted a starting shortstop job in the big leagues. That just wasn't one available. And he instructed his agent, his management team, that if there is no starting shortstop position available, I want to go back to Milwaukee. He had a great time here. He loved playing for Renicky and his coaching staff. He loves this environment, Miller Park, the fans.
And now he's got at least a starting job for a while at first base.
I'm shocked when he says he's not comfortable over there, but because he doesn't look like it. We've seen him all spring, man. He looks like a seasoned pro. He looks like a Gold Glove first baseman.
Yeah. And his footwork and his hands over there on short hops. We've seen it tonight. Short hop at first base. A couple of days ago down in Arizona, you know, learning how far to range off of the bag and off the line. You know, getting to know Ricky Weeks and his range. All things that normally take time.
Well, a reminder that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Brewers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Milwaukee Brewers. Late innings here. First game of a 2-game exhibition series with the White Sox. That's Blake Davis pinch running for the Brewers. I want to throw for him to get some time at Miller Park. Seen a lot of Davis this spring. He's played short, third, second base. Good little infielder. So the night is over for Gonzalez. And Gomez trying to get things going at the plate. He has struck out twice. Two gone in the inning. The White Sox lead at 6-2. Scored 2 in the 4th, added 3 in the 5th inning. Dunn had a couple of RBIs in that inning. Konerko has an RBI tonight for the Sox.
Pitching has been very impressive for the White Sox tonight. No matter who's been out there on the mound, they've done a pretty good job.
Some power arms in there. Nate Jones is the 5th White Sox pitcher. Afternoon game tomorrow. No television for tomorrow's exhibition. You can follow the Brewers on the Brewers Radio Network. The Hall of Famer is back, Bob Uecker and Joe Block. And they'll have the game tomorrow, 1 o'clock. And then a dark day, Easter Sunday off. And then Monday's opening day. Giovanni Gallardo against Jhoulys Chacín of the Rockies. 3-2 pitch. Davis takes off and Gomez fouls it away.
Now remember to get here early on Monday.
I'm going to be here. I'm not going down that road again.
Gets a little crazy out there in the highways and the parking lots.
Almost missed opening day in 2008. Rock was almost solo to start the game. I think I rolled in here about 15 minutes before the pregame show started. High and tight. Gomez draws the walk. Back-to-back walks and 2 on with 2 away. As we send it down to Sophia. What do you have, Sophia?
Well, it's Miller time in the Miller Lite Beer Pen every Friday night at Miller Park. Fans 21 and older can get a Loge Bleachers ticket and free t-shirt for $23. Visit brewers.com/beerpen for details. And guys, good news. I think we'll get Brian Braun coming up here in the next inning.
Nice. You mean an interview with Brian Braun?
An interview, yes.
Are you removing him from the game? Have you ordered Ron Renicky to take him out? Because we'd love to hear from him.
I don't have the proper authority, but hopefully Ron will sign off on it.
It's a bold prediction. Sophia, she's stepping out there a little bit.
She must know something.
That'll be good. We haven't heard much out of Braun. He's been participating in the WBC, so we haven't seen him much, at least on television. Our 2 televised games in Arizona, he was away from the team. Gene Segura with 2 away. Chased one. 0-2 the count.
Didn't mean to, and 0-2.
And that gets by Jimenez, the new White Sox catcher, and both runners will advance. Second and third with 2 away. The Brewers have just 2 hits tonight. Ryan Braun's home run, responsible for the only 2 runs on the board. That home run came in the bottom of the 4th. The other hit was an infield hit by Gonzalez. Not much going on for the Brewers offensively. Segura chased one. Down he goes on strikes. And the inning is over. The Brewers come up empty. 7 in the books. We're headed to the 8th. Alex Gonzalez. And more changes here for the Brewers. Logan Schaefer is in center field. Gomez is done for the day. And a new backstop. Martin Maldonado in to catch as we head to the 8th inning. And from Maldonado to Jonathan Lucroy. His night is over and he's with Sophia.
Thanks, Brian. Jonathan, for sticking around and joining us here. How does it feel to be back here in Milwaukee after a long spring training, the WBC for you in there? How's it feel to get back here and get this game underway?
It feels great, you know, trying to knock these 2 exhibition games out. But other than that, it feels great to be back and hitting BP and playing at our home, you know. So we always enjoy coming back here. And for me personally, I love coming back. It's a lot of fun to play here.
With the addition of Kyle Lohse, what have you seen from him, catching him? I know you caught him in the bullpen and yesterday. What have you seen from him in his strengths as a pitcher?
I mean, he works fast, he mixes pitches, and those strikes. I think that's the biggest thing, and you know, especially in pitching. And you know, these guys, he's a veteran guy, has experience, and knows what he's doing out there. So for me, it's a lot of fun to catch, and hopefully we can get a lot of wins with him.
When you have several young starters in the rotation, how does that change your job as a catcher? Do you feel like you need to guide them more? Do you treat them differently than maybe you would with Gallardo or Lohse?
No, I don't treat them any different. I mean, we're all professionals, and they all know what they're mostly capable of. I think it's the difference. The main reason being, you know, a veteran guy like Giovanni and Kyle. You know, they've had so much experience where they've failed a lot, and they know how to come back. And I think, you know, with younger guys, it's not just pitchers, but younger players in general. You know, it's how to react to failure and how to come back from it and make it a positive.
What did you think of Willie Peralta's start tonight, and how do you see him moving forward the rest of the way?
I thought he threw well. I think he got a little jumpy that last inning. I think, you know, he started trying to overthrow a little bit, but other than that, he looked really good. And this guy's gonna be real big for us down the road, man. He's gonna really win a lot of games for us, and he's gonna really contribute. He's really good.
What was your experience like with Team USA in the World Baseball Classic, and how did that experience help you get ready for this season?
You know, my experience, I didn't play a lot, obviously, because we had Joe Mauer back there, but I did get some ABs, and I did catch a game against Italy. But for the most of the things I really just got to, you know, experience the environment and, you know, just the team in general. Like we were all playing just for, you know, for the name. We're playing for the name across our chest, and I think, you know, we were all tied into the same belief. And whenever you have a team that's like that, it really feels special, especially when you're playing for your country. So it was a great experience and one I'll never forget for sure.
Offensively, last year you had a phenomenal season. Your .320 average, the highest by a catcher in franchise history. How do you try to match that offensive production, both personally and also as a team this year?
Well, you know, personally, you know, I just got to go out and just keep working hard and just keep the same approach and just try to hit the ball hard somewhere. And that's what I try to do. That's what I tried to do last year. Just keep it simple, as simple as I possibly can. And like doing it, you know, as a team, you know, I think if everybody just does, you know, what they're good at and, you know, sticks to their strengths, I think all the numbers will all be there in the end.
All right. Thanks, Luke, for your time. Brian, back up to you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Sophia. We appreciate Jonathan Lucroy spending some time with us. I know he said he wanted to catch all 9 innings today, but I think his manager won out. 2 innings of foul balls he won't have to deal with.
Yeah, get him in that clubhouse and healthy and you know, strap it on the ball.
Hey, look at Woon. Outstanding play for the final out of the inning. Nicely done. So Rob Woon comes on, gives the Brewers an inning plus and a defensive gem to wrap up the White Sox 8. This is the debut of Fox Saturday Baseball. Might see the Angels. Josh Hamilton, new member of the Angels, we take it on the Texas Rangers, Yankees, and the AL champion Tigers, or the Cardinals, and the San Francisco Giants, a rematch of the NLCS. Debut of Fox Saturday Baseball, April 6th. Head to the bottom of the 8th, and Sophia is in the dugout with Ryan Braun.
Ryan, thanks for sticking around and joining us. Your 2-run shot in the 4th, the only 2 runs on the board right now. But how did it feel to get that first home run out of the way here at Miller Park?
It was nice. Unfortunately, it doesn't count, but it's always nice to center the ball up. More importantly, I think just getting back here, getting used to the backdrop, seeing some balls here, and seeing pitches is something that should definitely help as we start the season on Monday.
The team making a splash here in the offseason, adding Kyle Lohse. Having faced him, what makes him such a productive and efficient pitcher?
I think he works ahead in the count a lot. He's a guy that has great control, above average command of 4 different pitches. He's a competitor first and foremost. You just see the way he competes. He works really quickly. He's a good athlete. I'm really glad we have him on our side.
Also, signing Gomez for a long-term extension, it's a commitment you've made. Why is it important to get a young player like him committed and also your outfield mate out there?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, he's excited to be here. He's excited to be a Brewer, and that's really cool. But I think he just continues to get better. Year in and year out, I think he's proven that he's continually making strides, continuing to get better offensively and defensively. I think it's a great sign for us, and I think he's going to be a lot of fun to watch for Brewers fans for a long time.
The season outlook, I think the Reds are predicted to be the top team in the NL Central, but how do you feel that this team, with the addition of Lohse, will contend moving forward?
He makes us a lot better, no question. I think for all of us, the goal is to get back to the postseason. Certainly it's easier said than done. We recognize there's some good teams in our division, but we like our chances.
Has he helped you out with any game plans or scouting reports facing some other teams coming up?
No, but I'm sure he will pretty soon.
Sorry, my Marquette Golden Eagles beat your Miami Hurricanes last night.
Yeah, it was a tough one for me. We got to watch it on the plane ride over here. So for all the Marquette fans out there, it must have been fun for them to watch that.
It was. We enjoyed it.
Cool.
Thanks for sticking around, Ryan. Brian, back up to you.
Thanks, Sophia. As Aoki sends one right back through the box, and fortunately, Matt Thornton was able to get out of the way of that rocket off the bat of Aoki.
That was trying to watch Ryan's reaction to when Sophia was giving a little bit of a needle.
A little dig there.
Yeah, a little dig, kind of getting that Ryan a little bit, but Nori able to shoot that one right back through the box. Thornton's been one of the better left-handers in the American League for a while. Look at that, 74 appearances last year for Matt Thornton. Now he has 7 straight years of 60 or more appearances out of the bullpen. That's shows a lot of endurance.
Very talented reliever for the White Sox. Spent some time as their closer. White Sox have Addison Reed as their closer now. They are very confident in what this young pitcher can do, and boy, he burst on the scene last year. Sox are pretty impressive. They've got one of the premier aces in the game as Chris Davis into center field for the out number 2.
All right, Sunday, April 7th, the Brewers take on the Diamondbacks at 1:10 p.m. and all fans in attendance get a Nori Aoki bobblehead courtesy of Robert Hack Diamonds. For Brewers tickets, call 414-902-4000 or go to brewers.com. See, I kind of messed up the first one. I haven't done one since.
Been shut out.
I have been shut down big time, so I hope I did a better job with that one.
Put me in, coach. Caleb Gendel gets an at-bat, and a low throw dug out by Gillespie over at first base. Side retired. To the 9th we go, 6-2 White Sox. the game to play left field. Guy's got a great chance to make this team, battling for the last position player spot. He along with Blake Lally. Davis wasn't around long in his at-bat. Didn't have a chance to talk about him, but he'll get a chance to finish this game out in left field. Caleb Gendel will take over in right field. Aoki is out after his base hit. I'm sure that feels good for him. There's Gendel. And the new pitcher is the other reliever battling for that final bullpen spot, Donovan Hand. Look at his spring.
Yeah, look at his numbers. ERA under 1 in his 10th appearance here tonight. Not a strikeout guy, but he's only given up 11 hits and 13 innings of work. Spent the entire year last year in AAA Nashville. 44 appearances for Hand. 3 of those starts, and he had a .384 earned run average. Another non-roster player that's looking to make this ball club.
Well, Alfredo Figueroa, who is Hand's competition for that last spot, struggled here today. One outing doesn't make all the difference in the world, but you know Hand would like to finish off his exhibition schedule on a high note. He's been really good. He is a command pitcher, strike thrower, gets a lot of ground balls. And short sends one to center field. Easy enough for Logan Schaefer, and one away for Donovan Hand. So one gone in the 9th, and Brian Anderson will bat his first at bat. He came in a pinch run for Adam Dunn. Hand starts him with a good hook. That's the thing about Hand and what we've seen of him this spring. He has terrific breaking stuff and command with all of his off-speed pitches.
They really get into the head of the hitter when you start him off with the first pitch strike and it's a curveball. And they're not sure what to look for after that.
Maldonado getting a couple of innings in behind the plate. He'll start tomorrow's game. If you got nothing going on tomorrow, love to have you here at Miller Park. Brewers and the White Sox will play at 1:10, and there are plenty of tickets available. You can just come on down and enjoy a little Brewers baseball tomorrow on a Saturday afternoon. There'll be some tailgating going on. Saw some today. Got the Bucks on Fox Sports Wisconsin tomorrow night against Oklahoma City. Kevin Durant in town. Big game for the Bucks. They look like they're in pretty good shape for a spot in the postseason.
Yeah. A nice season with the Bucks. Supposed to be in the mid-50s tomorrow here in Milwaukee. It'll be a nice day.
And we have to get the grills out, Rob.
Always. It's always grilling weather.
That's one of the great scenes on opening day, the tailgating scene. So it's like that at every home game, but especially opening day. Two and two. Hand against Anderson. And he missed with a breaking ball. Anderson didn't bite. Now Ryan Braun's 2-run home run in the 4th inning. The only significant offense here tonight came with on a 2-strike pitch. Just hooked it inside the foul pole. That ball's hit deep, way back center field. Schaefer looks up, and there it goes. Brian Anderson with a solo home run. And it's 7-2 White Sox.
And Hand forced to throw the fastball, and Anderson able to center on it. Got on top of it. It was up in the zone and dead center field. They have been swinging the bat since the 5th inning. These White Sox are going to score some runs.
7 runs now on 12 hits for the White Sox. Willie Peralta started tonight for the Brewers. He went 4 1/3. Gave up 3 runs, or 4 runs. Hitter-friendly ballpark as well on the south side. The Cell. I enjoyed our trip to Chicago last year. Didn't go so well for the Brewers, but it was fun to take the drive down to the south side of Chicago and see those games.
Yeah, White Sox took 2 out of 3, and they've got some very good pitching on the south side. Chris Sale. And Holton able to recover and get the flip over to Hand for the out.
Looks like their rotation is going to be Sale, Jake Peavy, Floyd Quintana, and Axelrod is going to have that 5th spot. But the guy that Axelrod beat out, who pitched tonight, Hector Santiago, looked about as good as you can. Hard-throwing left-hander who retired 9 straight with 5 strikeouts. As Dwayne Wise lifts one in the air to right, and the side is retired. Hand gives up a solo homer. White Sox lead 7-2. Last call for the Brew Crew. A reminder, with $500,000 in first place prize money on the line, the final 4 players at the WPT Legends of Poker return, and they'll return to the felt. See who will claim the coveted title. You can tune in to this week's episode of the World Poker Tour presented by ClubWPT.com. That'll be at LA's Bicycle Casino. Wrapping it up here at Miller Park. To the 9th we go, the bottom of the 9th. And the White Sox are bringing on their closer here. Get him used to the 9th inning. Not a save situation, but he'll be their stopper this season. Hard-throwing Addison Reed.
Yeah, set a White Sox rookie record for saves last year with those 29. Relatively high earned run average, a .475 ERA. For the tall, thin closer for the White Sox, Addison Reed, making his 8th spring training appearance here tonight.
So Yuni Betancourt will lead off for the Brewers, finishing up this game at the shortstop position. Looks right at home in that Brewers uniform. Well, he had a great spring. It was, I guess, a bit of a numbers game for Betancourt. He was not on the Phillies roster, but he hit over 400 this spring for the Phillies in Florida. And the Brewers had a need, and he was able to leave the Phillies and accept a big league offer. Now, if the Phillies had plans for him to be on the big league roster, they certainly could have kept him, and he probably would have been happy to do that. But no big league job was available, so the Brewers were able to sign him, and he'll serve in that utility role. Corey Hart is on the mend at first base, so as Hart is out, coming back from knee surgery, Alex Gonzalez will do most of the playing at first base. Betancourt pops it up, and there is out number 1. But you could also see a guy like Martin Maldonado at first base. Certainly Blake Lally, who is battling for that last roster spot. He's a guy that could play over there.
He's looked good over at first base, and he's a left-handed hitter. He can catch.
Betancourt's actually been playing a little first base. He's never played that position, but Renicky put him out there yesterday in Arizona. Said no problem. Logan Schaefer getting his first at bat.
All those years for the Brewers, the first base was never in doubt.
Right.
Well, it seems to be a revolving door lately.
Now Corey Hart's entering in the final year of his contract, and he was very impressive at first base last year, and he's healing well. We saw him right before we broke camp, and that knee is healing fast. He's hoping to be back by late April. I think the Brewers are still conservative and expecting him back first or second week of May. You know, Logan Schaefer's excited. Trying to get to Monday injury free. He'll be on an opening day roster for the first time. There's one impressive ball player here, Logan Schaefer.
Yeah, he does a lot of things very well. He's just, as you mentioned, just a good ball player, and he'll bunt for a base hit. He takes the ball to the opposite field very well. Tremendous defensive outfielder. Very accurate arm, and he can run.
I thought it was interesting. Renicky compared him to a young Steve Finley. That's a big comparison. And Schaefer, you know, at this point, he's a backup outfielder, but he's very fast. You can use him off the bench. He proved he could hit off the bench last year. I think his September time with the Brewers, primarily as a pinch hitter, really impressed Renicky and the staff, and he'll get a lot of playing time as a fourth outfielder. He swings and misses. Down he goes on strikes. So down to the last out here in the ninth. And then we're all set for opening day. Brewers have set their rotation. The Colorado Rockies are in town. Jhoulys Chacín will be the opening day starter for Colorado. Giovanni Gallardo gets the ball, his 4th consecutive opening day start. Marco Estrada will have game 2 against De La Rosa, and then Nicasio and Peralta on Wednesday. And my guess is we'll see Kyle Lohse for game 4 of the season, which would be game 1 of the Diamondback series. That's just a hunch. You put Mike Fiers in the 5 spot. I guess it all depends on Lohse's bullpen session tomorrow. Blake Davis chased one. It's 0-2. Well, you ready, partner?
I've been ready.
47 days in Arizona got you there?
I'm ready. Yes, sir.
0-2 pitch, and that's it. So our final exhibition telecast is in the books. Brewers and White Sox will do it again tomorrow. And then we're ready to tee it up opening day on Monday. We'll be back. We'll wrap it up from Miller Park right after this. The White Sox win it tonight by a final of 7-2.